Hello, my name is Dan Ahlstrom, and I'm the head of school at the Montessori School of San Antonio. And I wanted to take a few minutes and speak to our families regarding updates in our COVID policies and process. In the next few slides, our nurse Kimberly will go over our current process and policies as well as some updates. And then I will follow up with some answers to some frequently asked questions. Thank you.
We are continuing our daily safety practices here at school, and those include hand washing as well as sanitizing hands, cleaning and disinfecting that's happening in all of the classrooms, and to include our fogging system and other procedures that the classrooms have implemented. All of our staff and students are wearing face masks and practicing social distancing throughout the day. And we are also increasing ventilation throughout the building with use of open doors and outdoor classrooms when possible. If your child is sick, we ask that you please practice the same things that we've asked you to practice every year. If your child has a fever, they need to stay home. And the new thing this year is any COVID-related symptoms. If your child is experiencing any of these, we do ask that you please keep them home and contact your physician for further guidance on what to do from there. As always, families can always call or email me with any questions that you may have. If your child does test positive for COVID-19, we do ask that you please inform the school as soon as you know so that we can start implementing the steps that we need to keep the school as safe as possible. In order to return to school, your child must be fever-free for 24 hours without any fever-reducing medication. They have to have their symptoms improve, and 10 calendar days must have passed since the diagnosis or the onset of symptoms. And your child must also have clearance from a healthcare provider or a negative test result. Once we receive the diagnosis at school, there are certain steps that we take to make sure that everyone stays as safe as possible. Those start from the second that we are notified that somebody has COVID-19, and then we work with the teachers and the family to decide what the next steps need to be from there. Teachers will help us in identifying any kids that were in the classrooms or any kids that could be at risk for exposure, and we will notify all parents from those specific classrooms and those children of possible exposure. If your child needs to quarantine or a classroom needs to quarantine, all of those individuals will be notified by myself. If we need to quarantine a classroom, this will be for 14 consecutive days. The children will move to remote learning. Both in-person and remote students may have schedules that will change during this time, and the first day of the quarantine will not have classes held for the students, as teachers will need that time to prepare to move over to this extended remote time. Thank you so much. If you have any questions, please remember you can call me or email me at any time, and now we will go back to Dr. Dan.
One of the questions I'm frequently asked is whether or not we will close after Thanksgiving. The short answer is it depends. What I need you to know is that we are fully able to function remotely, in person, or in our current hybrid model. Whether or not we close depends on what is happening in our school community, what is happening with the other independent schools in our city, and what is happening in the state. It is our hope that we will stay open, and as long as we can do that safely, our anticipation is that the school will remain open. As we move forward, one piece of positive news is that there's a vaccine that's been developed, and we assume that that's going to be deployed sometime this semester. However, the next few months, we also know are going to be harder as COVID cases rise. So what we would ask you to do is to continue the recommendations that you've been given. Frequent hand washing, avoiding large groups, social distancing, masking, all of the behaviors that you come to rely on to keep your family safe. We would ask that you kind of doubly commit to that for the next few months. I think if we're all working together, as we have in the past, the likelihood of keeping the school open improves and keeping our families safe. With that, thank you for all you're doing, and I look forward to seeing you in person, face to face, as soon as conditions allow. Go Jags!